Welcome to Bridging Generations in Sales and Outreach. This is where all generations come to communicate, to connect, and to build trust. And trust is the most important thing in sales. I am your host, Butch Nicholson. I want to thank Aardvark for sponsoring our show and producing our show this week. And I'm excited to have London Colleen on the show. We want to get this show to all generations where all generations can learn to deal with the other. And I'm going to let Colleen, I'm going to let London introduce herself and just for a minute, tell me how you got here.
Yeah, so I actually graduated high school early. I was supposed to graduate in 2026 and I graduated in 2025. I was raised by two entrepreneurs, so I kind of have been around small businesses and learning how to kind of navigate through them, talking customer service, and I just kind of found my love for customer service at Thrive.
Wait, speaking of Thrive, tell us about Thrive.
Yeah, so Thrive is an overall wellness clinic. We offer IV therapy, hyperbaric, red light therapy, medical grade massage chair. We have a lot of different modalities depending on the person and their needs. We can kind of tailor that to them.
Well, talking about tailoring it to their needs. So I'll let you tell them how old you are.
Yeah.
But when a customer comes in, you're dealing with that customer or client. How do you get started with a client?
Yeah, so the first interaction you have is always at the front door. When someone comes in, they want to be greeted with a smile. Depending on kind of what they have going on, you never know. So I always say leave it at the door because you never know what walks in. So at 18 years old, it's kind of hard getting started because people may not take me as seriously as someone older than me, or they may look at them more mature. But we kind of navigate through it as we go through sessions and sit down and have conversations.
So I was laughing this morning when I was putting my computer on my backpack, and I bought my backpack on the beach in Aruba in 2001. So my backpack is older than you.
Yeah.
But I'll say this because you and I have dealt with some things. What do you believe the key is, especially if there's a wide generation gap? For you at your age, because I'll be honest, you don't look 18, but you don't look 40.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or tell a story about it.
Yeah, it gets difficult sometimes, especially when people come in, and obviously I have to meet them with a certain maturity, especially if I'm putting them in different machines that require a lot of kind of behind the scenes work to make sure everything goes and runs smoothly. But honestly, when you sit down and have a conversation with someone, you realize that you're a lot similar than you may think. So it doesn't matter if someone is 20 years old or 40 years old or even 80. We all find a common ground and kind of navigate through it.
Do most of the people that come in to Thrive know what they want, or is it more, I know I need to feel better, I know I need to look better?
Yeah, so it typically varies. We have very few that come in and know exactly what they want. And sometimes they may think they want something and they may end up in a different machine. And that's because we sit down and we have a consultation and I talk to you about your wellness goals, what you're looking to achieve, how fast you're wanting to achieve it. And we kind of tailor it specific to you, which makes it kind of unique than more than just a number even. So everybody's different. We all treat them differently, but we all come to the same thing with a consultation.
So if somebody comes in and says, I want the hyperbaric chamber, and after you talk to them a little bit, they really need the red light therapy before they do that. Yeah. How do you handle that? Because I know it can be hard because you're telling somebody they're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everybody's right in their own way. I try to handle things with a little bit more empathy and understand why they think the hyperbaric is better than the red light, or why the red light is better than hyperbaric. But everything has different modalities. And we kind of sit down and I'll give them kind of my knowledge from trainings and different things that we had to go through and learn about all sorts of issues that people may deal with, what they do and how they benefit from it. So after sitting down and speaking with someone about it, half the time they're leaning more towards what I'm suggesting than what they initially came in for.
Have you ever had to tell a potential client, I can't let you do that?
Yeah, actually, numerous times. We do a thing called a GFE. It's a good faith evaluation. So you're speaking face to face with a physician, and they clear you for everything. If you're taking certain medications, have different medical conditions, you may not be eligible for some of the things that we have. So we always provide an alternate kind of opportunity for someone to still receive benefits, but it just may look a little different than what they initially came in for.
So do you have a story about somebody who came in and wanted something and it didn't fit them?
Yeah. We've had a client come in before and they said they wanted the Hocket. So they were clear for the Hocket completely. And we ran a session. And after a few sessions, she realized that maybe she wasn't reaching the goal she wanted as fast as she wanted. So we kind of started a thing called biostacking, where you take two or more pieces of equipment and pair them together so you receive more of a benefit in less time. So she started the Hocket, red light, and hyperbaric. And pairing those all together, they work in different ways, but they can very much so be combined. And she realized that that was kind of her area. And she's doing great.
So what do you notice? What differences do you notice from, let's say, somebody 30 and somebody 50?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, the difference in ages, a lot of times when you're speaking to people older, they think they know it all. And sometimes the younger generations may look down upon themselves and say, wow, I'm just getting into this. And the people that have been in it for a long time, they know a lot more. Absolutely. And kind of finding a middle ground where you can both learn from each other has been the biggest thing for me. Learning better communication skills from the older generation, and then learning better marketing skills from the younger generation.
Do you find that you need to be more trustworthy and come across trustworthy with older generations or younger generations, or both?
Honestly, both. Trust is a big thing in what we do here. If you were to walk in and I were to say, honestly, don't know what I'm doing, I think this is pretty cool, and I were to put someone in a machine and I have no idea how to run it, I have not gone through any clearance, and I'm just going in it blindly, it's a terrible look, obviously. But kind of sitting down and taking the time to learn everything, use it myself so I know what I'm talking to people about. I have my own personal testimonies from every single one of the machines here. So trust is a big thing. It's universal, especially between the younger generation and older generations.
I was gonna use a story about getting you to tell about me, but I'll tell about me.
Yeah.
I wanted to start one place and had a long talk with you about how we would, let's start here, and then you and I recently had a conversation about, okay, we've done enough of that, you need to move to this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal, or is it you have a story about that, people doing that other than me, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, so I handle everyone's opinions with care, because clearly you got it from somewhere. So after speaking with you, for example, we kind of went through the benefits of every single machine. What I think, honestly, if I were in your shoes, what I would use. And instead of recommending, I more suggest. So if someone does want to use the red light, they can absolutely use the red light. But if I suggest something different, that's up to them the whole time. So kind of leaving that opportunity up to you and sharing my knowledge as you share yours as well, and we kind of figure it out together.
How do you handle it when you have to say to somebody, I can't let you do that?
Yeah, it's really not as bad as it seems. A lot of people are understanding. That's my whole entire job, is making sure that everything is running smoothly and safely. So kind of figuring it out as we go, and having to sometimes have the hard conversation, letting someone know, hey, you're not eligible for this, and I know that's what you came in here for, but can I offer something different? Half the time they're like, oh, okay. And we start getting into the modalities of a different machine, and they realize that, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, I should have came in here for this originally. So it's a learning experience for both parties for sure.
Do you believe that most people that come in they have an idea of what they want? They're somewhat familiar with machines, or somebody like, well, I was familiar with one or two, but somebody who doesn't know anything, they just think it sounds cool and something that I ought to do.
Yeah, there's some people that have done their own research. They've gone to different places that offer similar things that we offer here. But I like to say that we're very unique. We treat every experience like I would talk to you face to face. You're not a number to me. And I actually go back in profiles and I log about their services that day, what they experienced, how they're feeling. So it's a very different approach. And a lot of people are kind of baffled by it, because a lot of times nowadays with chain places, they kind of see you as a number. So here it's a lot more personal. So,
Well, your brother was on the show earlier,
Mhm.
and I know his Cairo stretching. I'm not going to name any names, but there are these stretch places like in every retail mall, and you just get the same thing.
Exactly.
And he's very different. So what you're telling me is you're going to model a plan for someone.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, they can, as long as you believe they're not going to hurt themselves, they can do what they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing here, is we care about every single interaction that we have. I never want someone to walk out the door feeling like they just spent money on something they really didn't need. And sometimes I'll let someone know, hey, we may not be equipped for you. And they'll understand. And it's better than saying, yeah, I'm going to throw them in this machine and take their money. And that's not what we're doing here. So sitting down and actually learning why the person even came in here in the first place. What are they looking for that someone else couldn't give them? And that's our biggest thing.
So if there's one thing, and this is just really about communication, but if there's one thing you could tell older people about dealing with younger people, what would your advice be there?
Honestly, it would be more being open-minded to new possibilities, new technologies, because everything's developing always. And a lot of times the older generation may not be as familiar with other social medias that don't include Facebook or email newsletters. A lot of times the younger generation, we're pushing on social media. So TikTok, Instagram, whatever it may be, and being more open to the idea of online marketing rather than just paper brochures or different flyers that we can hand out. But word of mouth is always a big one that can be shared between both generations.
Sure. So what would you tell older people about dealing with younger people?
Yeah.
Now I can find out how you can deal with me.
Honestly, the older generation, we can always learn from them. They have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. The same with the younger generation as well. We're kind of raised around similar beliefs half the time. So I truly believe that when we both kind of put our minds together, things can have a lot of a bigger impact than if it were just one generation alone. That's why I think it's important to include both generations in any decision you make, truly, because it's always better to have a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion rather than just one person dictating everything.
All right, let me ask you this question. So kind of coming to a conclusion here. If somebody wanted to follow your path, what would you tell them they needed to do?
Yeah. So I didn't really take a traditional path after I graduated high school. I immediately started working the day after, full time. And I got a lot of backlash from it from people I thought were my friends and saying, why aren't you going to college immediately if you graduated early? Like that was your plan a couple years ago. But as I started to work around people, I realized that not everybody is made to have the same route. And that's what's important is learning yourself and being in touch with yourself, saying, hey, I don't think that this is the route I'm supposed to take right now. And so honestly, I think pushing yourself is the biggest thing. And I've learned that. And I've always lived at a fast pace when it comes to working, friends, whatever it may be. I'm always competing with myself. I'm my biggest competitor, is what I always say. And that's what really motivates me as I wake up every day and I want to make at least one impact on someone, whether it's just a smile and they had a bad day and they needed it. So getting to the path or the place that I'm in now, I know that I can always improve. So I can't really give an exact answer to that because we're constantly improving every single day and kind of projecting ourselves to some sort of goal at some degree, even if we don't know what it is just yet.
So ask every guest one question,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're older. I've never had somebody as young as you, so I'm going to reverse the question.
Okay.
Normally, I say, "What would you tell London today? London 10 years ago today." But I'm gonna say it different this way.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see you? Let's don't do 10, 5 years from today.
Yeah, I know that truly whatever I do, I'm going to be successful doing it. And that's my biggest thing. It doesn't have to be a big franchise or it doesn't even have to be in the place that I'm in now. But I know that the steps I'm taking every single day when I wake up, I'm progressing to some sort of goal at some degree, which may not be clear right now. But in 5 years, I truly see myself being happy with what I'm doing, even if it's doing what I'm doing now. And I'm okay with it because I love it. So
if there's is there one last thing you'd like to say to the audience or to me?
that you're the best ever. No, but honestly, every day is a new day. It's new possibilities, new opportunities, and don't get discouraged when you don't see the results immediately because the greatest things take time. And honestly, back to your question, when you ask older generations, if I could have told myself when I was younger what I'd be doing now, I think I'd be very proud of myself.
Good.
Yeah. So it may have not been the marine biology route that I wanted at 8 years old, but I'm definitely in something that I know is making an impact on people, and it's made an impact on my life. So,
well, I appreciate you being on the show today.
thank you.
If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, that would be our website, thrive4peakperformance.com.
Great. And if you want to reach out to me, the best way is LinkedIn. Just send a direct message. We do this show for one reason. Well, I do it for multiple reasons, but the most important thing we do with the show is today, everybody one way or another selling something. But it doesn't matter how you want to sell it. It matters how the buyer wants to buy. So you've got to meet buyers where they are. And what we make this show about is being seen,